American president leaves the White House and arrives on your doorstep, you don't just get the mobile version of the Oval Office. You encounter the Pentagon, Secret Service, the Air Force and the National Security Agency spooks. Under every armpit, a gun. You also meet the real reason they're all here. The several hundred highly educated, well-paid and very hard-nosed trade negotiators. David Richardson on what Rome must have felt like when it ruled the world.
It's a security blitz like we've never seen before. In a word, awesome. Set of a movie, everywhere you turn, armed police and Secret Service security guards, electronic jamming helicopters, 2-metre-high fences, and throughout the city, a thick, not thin, blue line. All of this right now to protect one man, the most powerful man on the planet, and the terrorists' #1 target, George W. Bush.
Beautiful place you got here.
It is overkill. But compared to what we see in Australia daily with the Prime Minister, Mr Howard, and what we're actually used to seeing in Australia, and also when visiting dignitaries actually come in to Australia, it is overkill, yes.
But by their standards?
No, it's not. It's part of what they do every day.
In wartime, America calls its operations shock and awe. During APEC in Australia this week, this security detail is called SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. It's been in the planning for 18 months.
Air Force 1, clear to land, check wheel. Force 1 is gear down, clear to land, 16 right.
It was thrown into action the minute Air Force 1 entered Australian airspace, a 747 jumbo jet worth $400 million that's designed to withstand a nuclear blast. Then the most powerful leader stepped foot onto Australian soil and the biggest security operation in our history, $170 million worth, got underway. Just take a look at George Bush's entourage. The President is accompanied by 250 Secret Service agents. There are another 200 government representatives, the most important, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. She brings another 150 national security advisors. There are 50 White House political aides and 15 teams of US sniffer dogs, not to mention the President's 5 personal chefs and cooks.
And that's how we see the Americans do that. And I think that's just how they do things, big and better.
Security and risk management consultants Andrew Cook and Sally Stone from Heart Security have seen this kind of security for dignitaries before, but it's usually in hotspots like Afghanistan or Iraq, not downtown metropolitan Australia.
When you break it down, though, you know, it's not just security for Bush. Obviously, Condoleezza Rice is here as well. So I think when you start breaking it down, it might become a little bit more clear as to why there are so many people.
The Secret Service people, the ones here in the standard issue sunglasses, have special powers during APEC. They can check IDs. But during this meeting, they also have a licence to kill if they believe the President is being threatened. All of this incredible security for what amounts to a meeting on economics and trade. That's basically what APEC is all about. And George Bush won't be the only world leader here this week. There'll be 20 others, presidents and prime ministers. But APEC isn't your average trade summit. APEC nations represent 2/3 of the world's population and half the world's trade. The 3 richest countries on the planet are our APEC neighbours. So Australia is smack bang in the middle of it.
This is a really important personal trip for President Bush. I think if it had been anybody other than John Howard, he would have considered saying, no, I just don't think I can make it this year.
Veteran Washington correspondent Ann Compton has travelled with 6 American presidents. She's hardly surprised by the size of this security blitz and sympathises with Australians put out by all the fuss.
Oh, I think sometimes it's way overkill. I think anyone from outside of the United States takes a look at the motorcades and the armored limousines and the crowds of people and say, why in the world would that many Americans come? Truth be told, we'd all love to go sit down and have a beer in Sydney Harbour.